I've been going off for broke for my friends to like me, oh, but I know they see right through me cause they listen to my songs, yeah. But I don't care, no baby, I don't care. People always tell me take a breath, hey, hey, hey. I've been looking for something that haunts me all night. I've been staying up hours until the sun rises. Just so casual, always living the same life. I don't really mind, but I just need to take some time to get away.
Blue and red of the Bears, and the red and silver of the RBS. I'm going to try and keep the camera up in the sky for the leaders, and currently that is Staples being chased down by Lewis. Now, one of the areas where you will see cars on Oppo is down here on the final turn, but these two teams I don't think will go for the big Oppo shots. It will be all about the rodding and the leaning up, and can't see what's going on further back. And it is Asbo still leading, Staples right behind him. And once again, HW has not got the pace there to be able to hold Staples up. What HW likes to do is wait just on the exit to a corner and then pull out and slow down the runner. And Staples has now spun Asbo out, so Staples into the lead, where the Oppo teams are going to start to come. And there is Macy with a hell of a shot on Staples. Exile sneaks through into the lead now, still leading. Exile still in second, and Holmesy now trying to stop the leader, and he does stop him. Macy on Oppo. Can Macy get Exile? He does get him. So who's coming through? Mud Plays is right behind Exile now as they go across the start-finish line. It's Asbo back into the lead. So final time round the track for Asbo. He's got Mud Plays in second. Staples has now turned it. Emin up to third. Exile in fourth. Here comes Staples for the big Oppo. He's going to miss Asbo, but if he can get the Mud Plays, then he might still win it. And Asbo's going to sneak through here. None of the Birds are left there to try and stop him. Lewis is on Oppo, but he won't be taking his teammates out. And that is 1-0 to RBS. So, we will go up to the sky again for the first few laps. Watch the leaders. Exile this time, leading the way from Holmesy in leaders. It's a very tricky track to hold people up on because they're coming at such a speed. You don't want to pull out in front of them because you'll just get your car wrecked. But at the same time, are just using a bit of tactics just to try and stop certain drivers because they don't always seem to go for the leader. And you saw there, Macy with a fantastic shot on Exile. Exile ended up on his roof, and that's allowed now, it's allowed in this one. So the Birds are doing a much better job in this race of keeping the RBS rodders at bay. And Emin sneaking round now, I believe. Lewis on a bar here, so Lewis is almost wrecked. So Asbo is looking like the only rodder that RBS have got now with the Birds. Oh, and Emin is nearly wrecked here on the back straight. We're on to the final lap as well, so Exile takes the lead. Asbo, if the Birds can stop Asbo here, then I don't think RBS can take this one, unless they wreck all of the Birds rodders. And that's a cracking shot on Exile. You see Exile loses 2 bars. Holmesy coming down the back straight. Asbo into the lead. Who's Holmesy going to hit? He's going to have to get out of the way of his teammate. Emin waiting for Asbo, and he gets a shot on him, but Asbo survives. Stagia Tulip right behind Asbo now. He's going to need to do a job on him, and he just drives past him. But Asbo is up the inside. Macy on Oppo, and I don't think they're going to get him. Asbo has once again gone across. Oh! He just about gets across the start-finish line, does he? With the final heat, and Birds really need to take this one. If they don't take this one, then I mean, there were once or twice where I did that myself in our team meeting around this track. So Stagia Tulip doing a cracking job there on Lewis, but HW with a shot on Tulip, and that's followed by Asbo. Just such a big target, and Holmesy with a hell of a shot up the back of it, and we see one of the Birds behind HW, and Lewis is lining him up. Cracking shot from Lewis on Exile. Lewis going round the barrier, and Tulip with a big shot on Holmesy, but Tulip only a squeak. Now, it'd be interesting to see whether any of the RBS try and finish Tulip off. You see Mud Plays looked like he was lining a shot up there. But meanwhile, I'm waffling about what's going on with Tulip. Value Marker snuck through and into the lead on lap 7 of 8. King Kenton in third as well. Emin in fourth. So again, if the Burrs here can stop Lewis in second place and Mark smartly getting out of the way, Lewis is going to try and go wide. Oh, Macy with a hell of a shot on Mark. Just lined that up from one end of the straight to the other. Emmon through the back of Asbo. King Kenton with a free run. Macy coming towards him on this back straight. Can King Kenton get past Macy? Oh, and he doesn't. That's a hell of a shot from Macy. So there's 2 RBS cars for the Birds to stop. They need to stop Lewis. They need to stop EU Mud Plays, and Lewis is wrecked. Mud Plays round the outside. King Kenton sneaking up the inside, but it's going to be Mud Plays who's going to get across the line for race number 3. That was the closest yet for my money. The track before the end of the DD, but we'll see. We'll see. So, this is your DD arena, Fairfield Mud Pit. Very much a marmalade DD area, this one, because with the mud, teams find that they end up skidding straight into the wall when they go for big shots. And Holmes is the first one to lose a couple of, well, just the 1 bar, actually. So, yeah, this is very much a DD track that teams either love or hate, depending on how good you are at getting on the brakes and avoiding shots. Now, both these teams have made a massive success out of avoiding shots. It seems like they've got eyes in the back bumpers the way they sit on brakes and avoid shots, and Staples with a hell of a shot on Lewis there. And Macy just getting in the way of Holmesy when Holmesy was lining up Staples. And there's HW going into the wall trying to get to Staples, and that's what we was talking about earlier on. No, I didn't, Little Squirt. It was a good meeting. So we see one of the Bears in the top corner there getting a couple of shots from the RBS team. I think that might have been Mark. So Exile and Mark both down a bit on the Bears side. And Holmesy and Lewis probably looking the lowest on the RBS. But in terms of the 2 sides, I'd say currently RBS with more health than the Bears. But health isn't everything in DDs. I mean, obviously, once you wrecked it is. But you want to keep the number advantage. You want to keep more cars alive than the other team. And Lewis is looking like the first casualty for the RBS team. However, that Burr driver at the top has left himself right open. And RBS just picking them apart. Emmon dropping 2 bars courtesy of them shots. Mark smartly getting out of the way of both Exile, both EU Mud Plays and Asbo. Exile coming in for a big shot, but missing them both. And Asbo's going to get picked up by King Kenton there. Macy trying to line Emmon up. Lewis is struggling here. He's only on a bar. And it might be worth trying to put a shot in on him and take a bar off him. Interesting shot going in from Emmon there. Big shot on Asbo. Didn't actually take any health off him. So I think a lot of the times when stuff like that happens, it is just connection more than anything. And we know what this game can be like with situations like that. Where health just doesn't disappear. Exal being chased down by both Macy and Holmesy, doing a smart job of avoiding them both. The Burrs trying to work on a couple of the drivers over on the left-hand side there, but Lewis is still going, and there you see, that is one of the big problems with leaving a driver running. Lewis taking a big shot on Mark and removing quite a bit of health off him. And Emmon is the first one gone. So Lewis, despite having very little health, manages to keep his car running, keep his car alive, and I think he has now gone. I think Mark has just finished Lewis off. So Lewis is gone, but that's a bit too late for my money. He should have been gone earlier. I mean, easy to say when you're watching it. Yeah. Let's have none of that talk, please, in here, Prince. We do not want any of that sort of thing. I obviously do not condone anything that's been said, but certainly don't want it being discussed in my chat. Thank you very much. So it's currently 5-3 in advantage to the RBS team. All the Bears have got a fair bit of health left on them, but obviously with the number advantage, the RBS team can start to pick apart some of these Burr drivers. And if they can get quite a few of the numbers ganging up, taking shots, taking health off, then that is going to be a big thing. And Staples is going for some massive shots here. But every time he takes a big shot on one of the RBS team, the rest of them pile in. And here you see Asbo pile into Stagia Tulip. So not only there did Holmesy put a good shot in on Tulip, he managed to keep him held up. And that allowed Asbo to put a big shot in, take a bar off him. And Staples in the middle, not just getting hit by one RBS driver, getting hit by them both. And this is turning into a one-sided DD. And for my money now, RBS, it's just a matter of time. The Bears are doing a really good job of trying to keep the cars running. But RBS are such masters at the DDs. They're so tricky to hit, first and foremost. But when they do put a hit in, or when you do get a hit on them, you normally get hit by another 3 or 4 of them, courtesy of the big hit that you've just put in. So Kenton doing the chasing at the moment for the Bears. Stager Tulip just trying to keep his car alive. You see how Mudplays is holding there? So Macy now has an easier chance to take a shot, but Tulip manages to get out of the way. But Asbo is the one that delivers the shot. So exactly what I'm talking about. Mudplays with the initial miss. Macy missed second, but then Asbo was lined up to take that third shot. And at that point, Tulip's got nowhere to go. And Asbo, in the end, with an easy shot on Tulip. And I think we have just lost Tulip, courtesy of 3 cars. King Kenton on his own here against 5 RBS drivers. Can he do anything? I mean, it's an impossible task. It's impossible when you're up against them on even numbers. But this is looking like it could be game over here for the Bears in this semi-final. Shocking, really, to see it go so soon. But like I said in them races, a few of them could have gone either way. And there goes King Kenton. So Macy delivering the final. Then pick one from the Bears as well. Yeah, we'll see what everyone thinks. At least your 4 is the right way around. That's it, Scooby. the four is in the right place, yeah. I need to fix that 3. I'll make sure, well, I'll say I'll make sure it's done for the final. I probably won't, will I? Let's be fair. RBS Asbo, says Rab Panda Boy, yeah. Asbo definitely up there. I mean, Macy, we always seem to pick Macy out in meetings, but he put some some massive shots in, some massive head-ons, and he's getting set about now by the Bears. And Emmon looked like he got a nice shot in on Macy, but just slipped off. And you see the difference there, Holmesy. Oh, and Asbo going through Emmon. So I don't know how the RBS lads do it. They must have a routine. But you saw there, Emmon didn't just get done by 1. He got done by 2 and then 3 with Asbo. They just seem to come out of nowhere. I don't know whether it's just luck of where they're sat. I mean, you'd suggest it is luck, but then it happens too often to be luck. So, yeah. I don't know how they do it. I'm sure they've got a secret. I have been told when they are doing team meetings that Asbo and HW are very, very good on communications. Now, I don't know how true that is, but yeah, that might be the key. That might be why they are so good in team meetings. Tasha's saying Asbo and Kenton for the Bears. Macy says Bodger. Macy says Bodnam. Macy says JGSW. Squirt saying Holmesy. That's not a bad shout, actually, Squirt. Yeah. I mean, I think for the Bears, I'm sure the Bears won't feel like any of them have turned up tonight. I think Emmon did quite well in the races. He was always up near the front towards the end of the race. Possibly Exile as well. He was always there or thereabouts, I think, if I'm thinking about the right one. Yeah, always tricky. Someone was on Asbo's account, says C. Bodnam. It's usually people saying that Asbo's on someone else's account, so I don't know who it will be on his account. RBS now trying to hunt down the Bears. King Kenton getting a slap from Holmesy. He's into the wall. Lewis putting a shot. Asbo. Oh no, it was Mudplays putting a shot in. Asbo. I don't know whether that was a miss and a hit on Mudplays or whether he just felt like going through Mudplays anyway. And he goes into the back of Mudplays again, so maybe it's not. Lewis with a shot on Kenton. Stage of Tulip going into Kenton as well. And there we go. I think head's starting to drop. I don't think there's a better team on the Xbox for DDs. People can say I'm wrong if they want in the chat, by all means. But yeah, for my money, I don't think there's a better team in DDs than the RBS team. And Mudplays here with a sitting duck in Staples. Doesn't go through him, interestingly. And it's going to be HW who goes through Staples. He gets back on his wheels, but HW's taken a fair bit of health off him now. Tough track, says Little Squirt. Yeah, it's not the easiest of tracks, Fire Rock, is it? Asbo going in for a hell of a shot on Staples again at the top of your screen there. And old Tulip with a big shot on Holmesy. But Lewis straight through the back of Tulip. And Tulip now on his roof. And HW driving past him. Now, again, opinions in the chat. You see a driver on the roof. Do you blitz them? Oh, Mark doing a good job there of pushing Holmesy in the way of HW and surviving. That's a good move from Mark. Yeah, do you leave a driver on the roof to time out, or do you empty them like Asbo's just done? Now, I used to be of the opinion that you leave them on the roof, because, obviously, one less driver to deal with. But a lot of the time, teams are very good at getting them back on their wheels. And so for that reason, nowadays, if I'm in a team meeting and I see someone on the roof, I'll make sure that one of my drivers gets a lot of speed up and just goes straight through them, because at the end of the day, they're probably going to get back on the wheels. They're better getting back on the wheels with 2 bars left than getting back on the wheels with 4 bars left. And Mud plays with a hell of a shot there on Kenton in the top corner. Don't often see the big shots going across the DD arena. And I don't think Mud plays would have gone for that shot in the first DD when it was still 3-0 and a chance for Burrs to win it. I think Mud plays wouldn't have taken that shot on. Because it's a sort of shot where if the other driver is watching you, they can quite easily stand on the brakes and you end up in the wall. Yeah, interesting one, that one from Mud Plays. Macy trying to line up Exile. All 3 of the Burrs drivers left running do have decent health here. But again, they're up against 5 of the RBS drivers. And Asbo here through the side of Emin, and Emin no longer with a decent amount of health. That's it, Staples. Thank you for racing tonight, mates. It's never easy up against a team like RBS. And like I said, I feel like the races were a bit unlucky, really, to go as they were. I mean, I think RBS definitely edged the races. Maybe 2-1 would have been a fairer score to RBS in the races. But it's the way this format works. You know, you can have a real close meeting with a team and it end up 6-0. And then you can have a meeting where you feel like you absolutely dominate it, but you still end up getting a 3-3 draw. So it's just the way it goes. Fair play to them, they outdone us. Hopefully when we face them next time, we get a track that suits us a bit more. Yeah, exactly, Staples, exactly. Hello, Walton. But then do you want to risk getting someone back over and getting yourself to... Well, that's an issue, Straubs. It depends entirely where they are on the roof, as Kenton committing Harry Cat. On board with the leaders as they come round turns 1 and down towards turns 2. A bit of an interesting track, this one. Flows between the left-handers and the right-handers, all of them tight. All of them you would feel would give you a good chance to absolutely rail someone. But we'll have a couple of cars waiting here, and I think that is Big Boy gone, is it? Wacko waiting, but Little Wacko is being sorted by HW. Big shot on Oppo. Doesn't connect with Walton, but Bonzo here on the brakes, and once again we're visiting Bigfoot in the trees, and Walton just picks Bonzo up, and we watch Holmesy absolutely rattle Bonzo there. Peters to feature. Little Wacko on Oppo there. That's not a bad shot on Walton. She doesn't... Yeah, as it stands, RBS looking like they've got this one. HW actually on 1 bar, so if the Psychos can maybe get rid of HW, then that's going to provide Oh! Walton wrecks his teammate. Was that intentional? That looked intentional for my money. Because Bonzo was nowhere near Walton. And Bonzo actually trying to line Walton up there. Walton smartly getting out of the way of that shot. And he's away now. He's going to go into the lead. And Walton's going to scoot past them two. And we'll look down the home straight to see if any of the Psychos are coming on Oppo. And there's nothing there. So it is going to be 1-0 to Team RBS. Now let's see if we can get the lead up the lead in his road cutter, not in his Grand Duke. I don't know how I got that mixed up with a Grand Duke before, unless it was HW I was looking at. We'll have a look in the background at HW doing a bit of blocking there on Peters, and you can see that's allowed Holmesy and Walton through, and HW once again taking Peters, trying to hold him up, and HW is going to come back onto the track and have another go possibly. Now Wacko coming down for a big oppo here, and he's not going to take it. Maybe he's going to go for Walton. Oh, that's a hell of a shot on Walton! Walton there. It's a big task for the other team trying to stop all four drivers as Wacko goes in. Another massive shot on Walton. Anybody waiting for him? Oh, and here comes Little Wacko as we speak. Little Wacko missing the shot. Bonzo getting the shot. And Peters. Oh, Peters has put Scarby on his roof. That's Bonzo going into Scarby now, keeping him held up the banking. This is exactly what the Psychos needed, as it's looking like Peters trying to do a blocking job on Scarby now and lets them both pass, but he can maybe get them into this corner. One of them potentially going to sit on the brakes, and he misses next time round. But if Psychos can put in, oh, that's a shot up the back of Mud Plays from Scarby, and Peters. Scarby coming down the home straight. Oh, Bonzo finishes him. So Holmesy now into the lead. Asbo goes through the back of Bonzo, finishes Bonzo off. You can see in the distance, Big Boy on Oppo. Peters misses Holmesy. Can he get Asbo? Misses Asbo. That is critical, because now Big Boy has the task of trying to stop two of the RBS drivers. And you can see Holmesy coming into this final corner. Big Boy is not going to run up. I think that's a mistake. And he's going to miss him. Holmesy's free. What's coming down the home straight? Absolutely nothing. Holmesy is going to take race number 2. And you can see LX Tricks there. It would have only taken, again, an RBS driver out in the lead. Holmesy out in his Razor this time. Was he in the Razor last time? I don't know whether he was. Big Boy in second place, but we'll stay on the action with Big Boy, who's not been jacked up by any of them there. I was kind of expecting one of them to go through him. Oh, that's a hell of a shot from Big Boy. Pushes Scarby into the wall in HW, and let's see what he does with Straubs. And there you see Straubs very, very well. He managed to get a fantastic job there. Wacko is going to try and stop Holmesy, but HW knows if he keeps an eye on the corner now. So can Bonzo do something with Holmesy? Holmesy up to the back of him, trying to spin him round, and Bonzo actually doing a decent job here of holding Holmesy up. But what he's going to have to watch out for here, Bonzo, if he does get held up for too long, he might get jacked by second place. You can see Holmesy trying to actually hold him up a bit there. Bonzo very smartly getting himself around the corner and out of the way of Asbo. So Bonzo's done a real good job here on Holmesy, but you can see the RBS drivers trying to put a shot in on Bonzo. Scarby getting a little bit excited there, and Bonzo diving out the way. Walton going to go in for a shot as well, but Bonzo sees it coming. Lap 6 this time, and LX Tricks waiting for him. But Mudplays has spun LX Tricks round, and Asbo says, thank you very much, Mudplays. I'm going to have a bit of LX Tricks. Lewis is trying to get involved in that as well, but LX Tricks, he gets jacked by either Lewis or Holmesy. Then it is all she wrote for LX Tricks, and Lewis thought about it. Asbo just holding LX Tricks wide, and Lewis goes through. So Lewis into the lead now. Holmesy also lining up a shot behind LX Tricks, and LX Tricks again. Very good with this. And Lewis trying to go past them both, and he's managed it. That will be disappointing for the Psychos as Lewis nips through. Bonzo as well. Lewis has got 2 cars to avoid on the home straight, and Bonzo's going to get him. That's a hell of a shot from Bonzo. From Wacko, sorry. Apologies to Bonzo. It wasn't Bonzo that put the shot. Corners to try and win this third heat, and he gets a shot off Wacko. But Wacko, I think, is on three wheels, so he can't get to him. Scarby's through as well. Lewis is still in third. Straubs has obviously been stopped. As we come on to the final straight, here come the cavalry for the Cycles. A shot from Peters. A shot from Scarby. Scarby gets put in the wall. Lewis is coming through to try and take the win. Big Boy on Oppo. Misses them all. And they're going to get it. Who's going to get it out of the 3? It's going to be Lewis who takes the third heat. And that ends. Here we go with the first of the DDs. And we see Scarby already mounting Big Boy. And putting a good shot. Taking a bar off Big Boy. We'll try and get as much of this DD arena in the action as possible, in the site as possible. And there we go. So, the Psychos are racing in green tonight predominantly, except for Little Wacko, who has still got the pink and green, although I don't think it's enough of a clash to be a problem. RBS are in the grey and red. And the Psychos have already got one driver on the side over there. I can't quite see who that is from here. It's Wacko, so Wacko is on the side, and I think that's in a juke, as Mudplace puts a big shot in on Wacko. And Alex Trix gets duped into putting a big shot in as well. And Wacko still on half his health, but slowly being taken apart. And big shots going in on Scarby and Holmesy there, as Lewis comes around to try and sort them out, but he's actually managed to pick up Big Boy and send him into the wall. That's a good shot from Lewis, as Asbo is going to get a shot here from Little Wacko, and some big shots coming in here, big shots. Lewis is on his side as well now, and Asbo trying to get Lewis off the wall, and Asbo's going to get lined up as well. Strobes into the side of Asbo, doesn't lose a lot of health though there, Asbo, and Lewis gets absolutely rattled by Alex Trix. So this is what we want to see from the Psychos, and a good shot going in from Bonzo. Lewis has somehow managed to get himself off the side of the wall there. So looking at the numbers here, RBS still with all of their drivers, and Psychos down 2 technically. Wacko's still alive, but he's not got much left. He will be wrecked very shortly, and there he goes. So it's looking like it's now 7 on 5 in favour of the RBS team, and there goes Strobes getting spun round. Lewis is going to go in and get a shot in as well, and Strobes takes a bit of a battering there, but he doesn't lose a massive amount of health, as Walton sticks himself in the wall down there. That was, I think he was trying to avoid the shot from Strobes and just got it slightly wrong. Lewis is almost wrecked here, and Peters is trying to get the shot in, but he's left himself open for Asbo, and Asbo picks him up, collects him. Little Wacko's going in backwards courtesy of HW, and she gets done by Mudplays as well, and Strobes there wasn't sure whether to go in for the shot on HW, and that cost him in the end. Didn't manage to get a good shot, and Asbo there putting a good shot in on Bonzo. Alex Trix and Bonzo collecting each other. This is starting to go wrong for the Psychos. They needed this DD to try and get back into the meeting, and it's not looking like it's going to happen. Peter's still with a decent amount of health, and Alex Trix is still at half his health, but there's a lot of drivers for the RBS team that have got a lot of bars there, and it's going to take some serious work from the Psychos to try and pull this one out of the fire. As Scarby tries to get a shot on Bonzo, Walton picks Bonzo up. As we already mentioned, that Hunter Panther very good at doing that, and this is looking like it could be game over, as Bonzo puts a good shot in on the Wild King for the RBS team, and Holmesy goes straight into the wall himself. Bonzo actually doing a good job of holding up Asbo and trying to finish Lewis off, but he's going to get wrecked himself, courtesy of Asbo. And Little Wacko takes a big shot off one of the RBS drivers. I think, I'm just waiting for them to come round. I think that is the Razor. That must be Holmesy. It is Holmesy. So, here they come round again. This, like I said, this is 3-0 in this DD. Psycho's down to 2 drivers, just Peters and LX Trix, and they're desperate to finish Lewis off. Lewis has been on a smidge of a bar for the majority of this DD, and all he's been doing is running around and getting the Psychos to miss, basically. HW coming in for a big shot on LX Trix. LX Trix managing to avoid it, but he's now going to get pinned up by Mudplays, and here come the Wreckers going in for big shots on LX Trix, and we have lost one of the RBS drivers, 2 of the RBS drivers. HW coming in for a big shot on LX Trix, gets him held up, and Holmesy there going in, Asbo going in. I think that is all she wrote. No, LX Trix still hanging on, and it's Lewis finishing himself off on the wall. But it is up at 9:15 as well. 1 full lobby. I've not bothered with 2 because there was only about 10 reserves, and even when we do have 2 full lobbies, people don't turn up, and we normally end up with 10 in each lobby. So we see Bonzo going straight into the wall there, just showing how easy it is to do. And Little Wacko getting a good shot on HW, but Asbo there, HW's running partner, just returning the shot on Wacko, making sure that Little Wacko paid for that shot on HW. But this time Asbo going in for a shot on the hearse, finishing the hearse off, but also putting HW on his side. So this could be a bit of an equaliser now. Can Psychos either keep HW on his side or bury him whilst he's on his side? Can one of them get a big shot in? And Lewis putting a hell of a shot in on Bonzo. Wacko going end over end there, courtesy of Scarby. And I don't know whether the RBS team will be able to get HW back here. Wacko going straight through the side of one of the RBS drivers, Scarby I think that was, who's now on 2 bars. Bonzo getting railed, he's now down to a tap, and Mudplay is getting a shot. Straubs is trying to line Lewis up, and Lewis smartly getting out of the way there. Holmesy finishing off Bonzo, taking a bit of health off himself there. Asbo coming in to try and get HW off the wall, but the Psychos are not really taking it in turns to try and hit them there. They've tangled it with each other, and Asbo makes the shot on one of the Psychos. Wacko was involved as well there. So Psychos here, they know they've got a chance of winning this one, but at the same time, they've got to make sure that they make the shots count really. As Walton goes straight through the side of one of those drivers. Wacko with a good shot on Walton, but Wacko's sat up nicely here for Lewis, and Lewis decides to go for the other one. And that was the razor of Holmesy straight through the back of Wacko. Mudplay's finishing them off. They hunt in packs, the RBS team. And even now, even with the driver advantage, they're still trying to get HW off the wall. And Scarby, Straubs actually putting a big shot in on the Wild King of Asbo. Mudplay's going through the back of Holmesy. Walton now trying to get HW off the wall. I don't think they need to, RBS here. They've got the number advantage. Big Boy's still with a lot of health, but I think they should still be good here, the RBS team. Walton is doing a really good job, actually, of taking the health off HW, so even if he does get back on his wheels, they might struggle here. And Asbo gets lined up by, I think that was Big Boy, and HW now back on his wheels. So that is what we talked about that yesterday, actually. What do you do when you get a driver on the side? Do you rail him, or do you leave him there to time out? And like I said, in recent months, I've sort of started to go through them, really. As long as you're not going to get yourself lined up for a shot, you've got to make sure you're clear behind. Because if they do get off the wall, I mean, HW's still got 2.5 bars here in a Grand Duke, and that is invaluable, really. Big Boy putting in a big performance here, taking a big shot on Mudplays, trying to get around the outside of HW, but HW is going to try and get him pinned up for his teammates to go in, and Mudplays not quite connecting with Big Boy. We've got Lewis and Asbo scrapping it out here down in the corner. Mudplays going straight through the back of his teammate there, so that's one RBS driver gone, courtesy of another RBS driver. And Big Boy's got, like I said, a big task here to try and do this. And HW has now got his target, and in they pile the RBS team, going straight through the side of them, their own drivers, trying to get to Big Boy. Big Boy lining Lewis up, but Lewis is going to get out of the way at the last second there. And HW, I think he missed Big Boy there, puts himself in the wall. Asbo coming in as well, but not getting a shot in. So Big Boy, like I said, doing a good performance here. I think the RBS are probably getting a bit complacent knowing that they've only got one driver left to wreck, and they have been going through each other a little bit. HW now has him pinned up again. Lewis is going to try and put some shots in here and takes a chunk of health off Big Boy. So Big Boy only with half a bar left. Can Lewis or Asbo finish him off? EU Mudplays maybe? No. HW trying to get to him. Walton seems to be going backwards here. I don't know why he's going backwards. Maybe he's on 3 wheels. They're all going backwards, the RBS drive places. I know, excuse me, I know that Macy put in 180,000, and I imagine a few others put in some big dollar as well. So can Psychos get a little bit of credibility back here? Maybe take a DD win. We've got Walton reversing around the track, which is a little bit disrespectful to his opposition there. Not what you want to see from a team as good as RBS. As he goes in for 2 shots, and that's what he can do when he goes the right way round. So Scarby putting in a big shot on Wacko. Lewis out in the limo by the looks of things, which is an interesting choice. Like I said, I think the RBS getting a little bit too big for the boots here. This is why they do get a bit of a bad reputation for not having much respect for other drivers on the game. But it's looking like they might win this one anyway, even with the limo out and Walton reversing around the track. I think probably Psycho's feeling a little bit demoralised. I think they felt like they had a good chance around Fire Rock tonight, and to be fair, they did get beat pretty convincingly in the races. RBS took the fight to Psychos in the races, and I think there was maybe Heat 2 where Cycles looked like they had a good chance of taking that one, but didn't in the end. And oh, a bit of lag there to see all the cars suddenly speed up, and see Scarby and Mudplay's getting a shot off Strobes, but unfortunately for him, he also catches his own teammate, and that just goes to show you what it's like on this game. When things are going down for you, when things are going badly for you, those are the sort of things that happen. Get a good shot on the opposition team and end up taking a few bars off your teammate as well. So Wacko is going to get finished off here by HW. LX Trick's the only one left running now for the Psychos, I think. And he's got a couple of bars left on him, but it won't be much longer that he wins, that he's left in this DD, as RBS now start hitting each other. So LX Tricks, I think, probably going to try and duck and dive here and see if we can get the RBS drivers hitting each other. And I don't know whether they're even trying to hit LX Tricks, or whether they're just going around and hitting each other. You see Scarby trying to line Holmesy up here. Yeah. Like I said, a bit of a disappointing end from the RBS drivers here. I think, like I said, this is not the side we like to see from RBS. Very, very disrespectful in my opinion. But it is the way they are. So there we go, 6-0 for the RBS team.